We're looking at 4.2, we're looking at congruency triangles. Third angle theorem. If two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the third angle also has to be congruent. Which makes sense, right? Because the interior angles of a triangle always have to add up to 180. So if you know two of them are the same, the third angle has to be the same for both triangles. Because there's only one way to get 180. Okay? Property of congruent triangles theorem. Reflexive property. If a triangle is congruent to a triangle, then it's congruent to the triangle. Symmetry. If ABC is congruent to DEF, then DEF also has to be congruent to ABC. Ladies. Okay, and transitive property. If ABC is congruent to DEF and DEF is congruent to JKL, then ABC is congruent to JKL. Okay, just like we've used transitive over and over again. All right, so we see this lovely picture right here. All right. Do we agree that this states that these triangles are similar? So do we agree that AC is the same as GE? Yeah. Okay, therefore angle B is the same as angle F, correct? Okay. So if the measure, excuse me, I don't want to use that. So 8y minus 9 has to equal 22. Right? We feel comfortable with that? So we're going to add 9 to both sides. We get 31, 9, 10, 11, equals 8y. Divide both sides by 8. Why did I make this a horrible number? So y equals 8 goes into 24 3 times with 7/8 left over. I don't know why I didn't give you a nice, pretty number, but I didn't. Feel comfortable with this?
No.
Repeat what I just said? Yeah. Okay. So if these two triangles are congruent to each other, like it says on your paper, do we agree that AC would be equal to GE?
Yes.
Okay. If AC is equal to GE, do we also agree that the angle B is congruent to angle F?
Yeah.
Okay. So 8y minus 9 equals 22. I added 9 to both sides. I divided by 8. I got y equals 3 7/8. 8 goes into 31 3 times with 7 left over. Okay? All right, I'm going to do the next one.
Wait, why does it say, why does it say X?
There's no X for this one. There's an X for the next one, which is why it says X.
Oh, this one, but
Okay. So these two shapes are congruent to each other. So I'm going to look for X first, because that's probably the easiest. Which angle O goes with an angle for this one?
C. D.
So if we turn it, so sometimes I look at like QR, I know it's the same as FG. So if QR goes to FG, then FE goes to QP, then PO goes to ED. That means X is congruent to D, so it's 147 degrees. Okay? Now we've got to find out what QP is, which is 5y. And I'm going to say that those two sides are equal to each other, so 5y equals 30. Therefore, what does y equal? 6. We feel pretty confident with this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's turn it over. All right. Do you see these funky triangles that kind of look like an hourglass?
Yeah.
Okay. These triangles are congruent to each other. We know these are vertical angles, and these angles already say that they're congruent to each other, which means x would have to equal what? 61. If these two angles are equal to each other, then 66 equals what?
Good.
Good. So x equals? That's it. Anything you guys want me to repeat? Go over a second time? Yes.
Go over that.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So we see the first one that these two angles are congruent by vertical angles, correct?
Oh.
These two angles already show they're congruent. Therefore, x must equal 61. Because of third angle congruency theorem. If 2 out of the 3 angles are congruent to a triangle, then the third one must also be congruent. So with the next one, I'm given that these two angles are congruent to those two angles. Therefore, 66 must equal 2x, so x must equal 33. Abby? You will have to write proofs for, I don't believe 4.2, but yes for 4.3.
Okay, so we're in for today.
Right, but not tomorrow. You guys will be okay tomorrow, too. I have faith.
Oil and water.
It's 26 is approved.
Number 26 is approved. Do you guys want to start that together then?
Yeah.
Yeah, metaphorically or